What's good, boys? The Worst Duels here. So today on the channel I have Mike's Ancient Warriors deck profile. I have some gameplay up on the channel of this deck as well. It's actually a super cool, like under the radar going second deck. Definitely a good budget option unless you're going to start including stuff like Lightning Storms and Forbidden Drops and stuff. But whatever. His build's actually pretty budget friendly. It's kind of what he's been fucking around with recently. He's kind of putting Infernoble to a rest just because I feel like he's just bored of doing the same combo over and over again. I really don't blame him. You can only summon Auroradon so many times. But yeah, I imagine we're just going to keep updating the deck as it evolves and as he adds more things and tries out different stuff. But, you know, for right now, this is what he has. And, you know, I'm not going to really talk a whole ton more here and just let him take it away and get into the profile.
Alright, this is the spicy new, the new shit tier deck we got coming at you. See, people are trying to, we're playing this deck. We're just going to put this right here and then take it away because we don't want to look at that card too much. But people are trying to do this deck like going first as well, but I'm just like, fuck all that. We're just going to play as many breaking board cards as possible going second because this guy, which I think is like one of the best guys in the deck, I'm just going to start out, play 3 of that guy. You can only use this effect if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, so I want to resolve this guy as much as possible. There's like a semi-lock too if you have the blue guy. If you have both of them on board, your opponent can't really attack you because they both say you can't declare an attack on this guy if you control another one. So as long as you control just these 2 boys, your opponent can't really attack you with anything, which is nice. But they all say the same effect. They basically say you send a card from hand or field to the graveyard, and then they all get different effects. This guy special summons one out of your deck as long as your opponent controls more monsters. Then if another one declares an attack while he is face up, or an attack is declared involving one, you draw a card. Both effects are only once per turn too. This guy's the stones though, 100%. And then this guy is actually probably the real best card in the deck. He searches you a card. Same thing, send a card, hand or field, and then his other effect says if another Ancient Warrior monster effect is activated, you can target a face-up card your opponent controls, face-up monster, I'm sorry, and then return that monster to the hand, except during the damage step. And then this guy, I see people playing 2 of this, which I was considering because you'd never want to have this guy in your hand. Basically, he says if he's added off an Ancient Warrior card effect, which includes spell cards as well, you can special summon him from your hand. And then he has 2 quick effects too, which he can send a continuous spell or trap card, Ancient Warrior one, to negate a spell or trap if it's just him. And then if you have him and him on the field, he has another quick effect, which says you can send a Ancient Warrior's continuous spell or trap to negate a monster effect too. I'm playing 2 of this guy. I've seen a lot of people just not even playing this card, but basically you can target a continuous spell or trap card and then switch it out for a Ancient Warrior spell and trap card. So you basically can send your tanky, which searches everything in the deck, and you can just swap it out and basically add the other Ancient Warrior
You get
card.
like 3 visits and stuff.
Basically like 3 visits. You can get the trap too, which I play. I don't know if people play that. You can get like any of the other continuous spells. There's a lot of good targets. And then his other effect says if another Ancient Warrior monster effect is activated, target a face-up effect monster your opponent controls, negate the effects until the end of turn, which can be kind of cool if you have to leave him face-up on the field. And then this guy, which I never draw, is like a Pankratops. If your opponent controls monster, special summon it. And then if your opponent controls more monsters, you can target a monster your opponent controls and destroy it. And the special summon is not once per turn, but the destruction is once per turn. So you could probably play like 3 of that card. I've seen people trying to play Desires in this deck where they play like 3 of everything and you don't play the rare guy. And you probably do that because he's just really good. Helps make a link too.
Extra.
Yeah, that too. 100% should be playing that card. If you are not playing Extrav, play Extrav. This guy, who's like the boss monster currently for the deck, he's busted by the way. He's like Goyo effect. If he attacks and destroys a monster by battle sent to the graveyard, you can special summon that monster to your field in defense mode, as long as obviously you have enough monster zones. Can't take link monsters with this because you can't put link monsters in defense mode, so people will try to cheat with this guy too. But if this guy is in your hand and a card your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can send another card from your hand or field to the graveyard, special summon this card from your hand, and then while you control another Ancient Warrior, this guy cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. So you can't target him with Imperm, Veiler, Fogblade, none of that nonsense. And then torrential, none of that shit would kill him either, which is really cool. This guy, possibly cuttable, basically says if you have 2 different attributes of Ancient Warrior Guy, special summon him from your hand, gains 300 attack for each monster your opponent controls, and then if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, he gets 2 attacks during battle phase. And then play one of this. You probably want this guy's the stone. This guy at the start of the damage step. When your other Ancient Warrior monster battles, you can special summon this guy from your hand, and then your opponent's monster loses 1,000 attack. He's broken because he basically says all other Ancient Warrior monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. And then if a card your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. Obviously, special summon and the destruction is once per turn, but this guy is just really, really good. And then for like the non-Ancient Warrior cards, play Pankratops. I haven't got to really test this card out yet, but this card is just the stones in this deck because all of your stuff is Beast Warriors. That Guan Yu, the special summon is once per turn, so even if they stop and destroy this, you can just bounce it back, resummon it again. There's like some really cheeky shenanigans you can do in this deck with this card. You can also bounce like the Clue guy back after you've used it, which is awesome. So
works well with a lot of the low level guys too.
It works well with so many cards in this deck. It's crazy.
Bait stuff with like the searches and stuff.
100%, yeah, and like half the time, like even Alex has seen too. Like I'll summon this, and like this gets impermed. You can literally just summon this guy, and you want this guy like back in your hand. You don't want him on field after he gets impermed. So just have him back in hand to set up for next turn. Because usually
like Tensu.
Yeah, it's just so good. Like you have the Tensu for the extra normal, which is the stones. But I'm sure this guy's gonna be broken. I just haven't got a chance to play with him yet. And then this card, because you have a lot of bounces, including your extra deck guy, and you can just basically summon Gamma like 3 times in a turn, which is crazy.
And Alpha too.
Alpha too, yeah.
Kaiju Alpha bounce Kaiju again, yeah.
Yeah, that's another play. I didn't even think about that as an option. That's even more crazy. And then yeah, we'll just put this card out. So I'm playing this and this, main decking evenly. I see a lot of people like sliding this card, but I was playing against Altergeist because that's my roommate's been playing lately. So I don't want to deal with any of that nonsense. That's also why I put this lovely Harpy's Feather Duster in the deck too, because this deck loses to back row super hard. But yeah, there's basically you can do whatever you want with this like 7 cards. You can probably change this up, but I definitely think Ruler. I think you're right. Like you need to, if you are going second, you probably should play.
Charles wants to know your location.
And then for more generic cards, obviously all your stuff's Beast Warrior. One of the best searches of the deck. I was playing one of this card. I'm trying 2 because just generic extra normal summon. Best card in the deck, 100%. Basically says during your main phase, normal special summon Ancient Warrior monster, target one of those, then you get to add one with a different name from your deck to your hand. When it's sent from field to the graveyard, you get to special summon a Ancient Warrior monster from your hand.
So naturally it's like add Sun Mu, summon Sun Mu effect, special from deck.
Yep, so even if they like stop this, like the cool thing is you can kind of play around Imperm with this card. If you go activate this, then like just like what you were describing, basically like normal summon the Sun Mu here, and then you're just activating this to add. It's almost like if they don't have a spell and trap removal, you don't want to imprint this though, because then like they lose the search, but then they're gonna use this and probably special summon something on top of adding something with it.
Right, for sure, because this is cost as well, right?
Like cost is sending, so like Chainlink 1, Chainlink 1, this happens on a separate Chainlink, right? This resolves adding something, and then you can just special summon whatever you add. You can have the big guy, the big 3000 guy, just shit him out of your hand, which is kind of crazy. This guy, basically, when it's sent to the graveyard, all your Ancient Warrior, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of your Ancient Warrior cards and effects. That includes your spell cards too. That includes this card. So keep that in mind. That is pretty dumb. And then all face-up Ancient Warrior effect monsters that you currently control, when this card gets sent, gain the effect when they declare an attack. They can destroy a card your opponent controls. This card is really good. Its first text basically says you can flip a coin, and then if the result is head, it also gets to send itself too. So weird coin flip mechanic in this card, but yeah, this just basically protects all of your stuff from hand traps and just stupid bullshit, which is awesome.
Also, it doesn't target. The destruction doesn't target. Yeah, so basically Mike's the guy at locals. So anyone got a coin?
Yeah, exactly. And then this card basically halves a face-up monster your opponent controls, again gives the attack to one of your Ancient Warrior guys, and then when this gets sent, if you control 2 different attributes, you can activate a Ancient Warrior continuous spell trap card from hand or deck face up on your side of the field.
That's when it activates.
So,
this is why you play the trap.
Yeah, exactly. Because this, basically half the time, I swap this out for the trap card. And then nobody plays this, but I think this card's awesome. It basically says, if your Ancient Warrior monster battles, your opponent can't activate any spell or trap cards until the damage step. And then you can only use one of the other effects per turn. But first effect says, at the start of the battle phase, send this face-up card from spell and trap cards into the graveyard. Monsters your opponent controls cannot target Ancient Warrior monsters for attacks this turn. And then its other effect, if in graveyard and your opponent attacks you, you can banish it, special summon an Ancient Warrior monster from your deck. But yeah, main deck, super spicy. And then we'll go to the extra deck. These cards you can interchange for whatever, especially if you're playing Extravagance too. I probably 100% should have a third copy of this card. But usually this is the only monster you summon. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. You don't make any of the other extra guys. Busted, when he's link summoned, adds a Ancient Warrior card from deck to hand. Buffs all of your Ancient Warrior monsters by 500 attack and defense, including himself. And then quick effect, you can send a card from hand or field to the graveyard. Target a face-up card your opponent controls, return to the hand. So he's like Compulse basically, but for anything. So you can also return spell and trap cards too, which is kind of nice because you don't have a ton of spell and trap card removal. There is one other rare in archetype monster that I was thinking about playing. Actually, I have it in the side deck. I think it's this guy right here. This guy, I really do want to try him as like a side option because he does get rid of like problematic floodgate cards. Because this deck 100% loses. I think what's the one that you can't have different attributes? I think it's...
Gozen?
Is it Gozen Match?
Yeah, that one.
Like, Rivalry is not a problem, but Gozen Match is a problem.
B only sucks as well.
Yeah, there can be only one is a problem. Anyways, and then generic Link 2s. More for back row, because again, that was kind of my reason I want to be able to out like Mystic Mine, stupid cards like that. I think this card's really good because you're attacking a lot. And then
because we're attacking a lot. Excellent reasoning.
That's my reasoning for that one.
It's actually, it is good though. It's good.
And this card, you could probably make this guy a lot in this deck too, because all of your stuff is just busted having it back again. Especially if you're able to make like the Dragon Lords guy and then make this guy afterwards, your hand has to be fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
But to be honest with you, half the time I'd rather keep up just the monsters because their effects on board are a lot of the times better than him recurring something, to be honest with you. But he is an option. He is in there. Spicy shenanigans. And then just more generic Link stuff. You do have a couple extra deck options in here. One of them being Tiger King, so you can just send Tiger King to make this. I'd probably play Boar Sword if I had one, as well as the Boar Load, but this card, I think, is just great. Being able to take their Dragoon, man. Ooh.
It should just be in like every extra.
And then the Stones, great card. Mini worst Dark Ruler.
Yeah, fucking bargain bin Dark Ruler. Absolutely great value.
But
nice
all of you guys are a piece of warrior. It's the Stones because you literally don't care when you make this card and use this effect, which is awesome. This guy's great. I've actually made this guy once, which is kind of cool. I've never made this card, but I think it's a good rank 4 to have. More spell and trap removal. This card's good if they make you go first, and this card's you can make this card. So I said, you know what?
Yeah, that's a good card.
Dragon Story's busted.
That's a good
I'm
card.
gonna throw it in a deck. I want to be able to play it in something, and I can play it in this deck.
But realistically, you should probably just play X-Drive.
Yeah, realistically,
triple the link. And
X-Drive, 3 the link, and you probably should play better like extra targets. You probably should play this thing in all honesty, or this fucking thing. But I do think these cards are good as like options.
Okay, so unfortunately my camera died, but we did end up getting to finish out the list. That is the entire main and extra. But what he goes on to say after my camera died is basically that he is smoke screening into True Draco. So he's playing an engine of like Heritage, Disciple, Diagram, 3 Ignis Heat, and something along those lines in like a trap and stuff. And then he was also the last thing he was saying was considering playing Monarch's Erupt, cutting the extra down to just 7 cards, and playing Extrav. so that by the time he summons the Link monster, and he extravs, he has no extra deck, Monka W. But yeah, that's kind of just something that he had floating around, and he just kind of wanted to briefly mention that that is a possibility. It's something that he has considered for going first, because you can side out all of the board breaking stuff, and a lot of the Ancient Warriors that don't really do anything going first, because like Sun Mu can still search you a card, the other guy is still a negate, which is nice, but you know, some of the cards just literally, like he said in the profile, literally say your opponent has to have more monsters than you. But yeah, that's all that we really got. This is the current version of the deck. He's already made some changes to it prior to me recording this, but this is what we got for now. So thanks for watching, like and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you next time.